The Poor Boy with Big Dreams. In a small village tucked away between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a boy named Arman. His name meant hope, but to many in the village, hope seemed like a luxury too expensive for a poor boy to carry. Arman was born into a family that had nothing but a crumbling mud house, a few chickens, and the will to survive each day. His father, Salim, worked as a daily wage laborer. Some days he earned enough to buy bread, and some days he returned home empty-handed, his face etched with exhaustion and defeat. His mother, Zainab, stitched old clothes for villagers in exchange for flour or rice. Together they did everything they could to keep the fire of life burning. Despite the hardships, Arman was different from other children. While many of his friends accepted poverty as their fate, Arman's eyes often sparkled with something greater: dreams. He dreamed of becoming educated, of leaving the village to see cities filled with lights, and of one day helping his family escape the endless cycle of struggle. Every evening, after finishing his small chores, Arman would sit under the old banyan tree near his house. With a broken slate and a piece of chalk, he would write letters and numbers, copying from the torn pages of a book he had once found in the garbage. His passion for learning was unstoppable. He wanted to know what lay beyond the hills, beyond the poverty, beyond the hopelessness. But not everyone understood him. One day, while Arman sat near the village well with his slate, a group of boys passed by. They laughed at him. "Why are you wasting your time with those letters?" one of them mocked. "Do you think you'll become a teacher or a king?" Another added, "You're just a poor boy. Books won't fill your stomach." Arman lowered his head for a moment. The words stung like thorns, but then he looked up, his eyes calm yet determined. "Maybe books won't feed me today, but they will feed me for a lifetime. Knowledge can build a future no hunger can destroy." The boys laughed again and walked away, but Arman didn't stop. Deep inside, he carried a fire that no amount of mockery could extinguish. Arman's biggest challenge was school. The nearest one was 3 kilometers away, across a dusty road and a shallow river. His parents could not afford the uniform or books, yet they knew their son's hunger for education was stronger than his hunger for bread. One morning, his mother Zainab handed him a small cloth bag with a few stale rotis inside. "Go, my son," she said with tears in her eyes. "We cannot give you much, but maybe God will give you knowledge that changes our fate." Arman hugged his mother tightly and began his journey. Barefoot, with the sun beating down, he walked to school. By the time he reached, his clothes were dusty and his feet sore, but his smile never faded. The teacher, Mr. Imran, noticed him standing shyly at the door. "Yes, boy? What do you want?" "Sir," Arman replied, "I want to study. I don't have books or uniform, but I will sit quietly and learn." Something about Arman's voice touched the teacher's heart. "Come in," Mr. Imran said. "Sit at the back. If you are willing to learn, you are welcome here." From that day, Arman became the most attentive student in the class. He borrowed old notebooks from others, wrote on scraps of paper, and sometimes even practiced lessons in the dirt when he had nothing else. He would walk long distances daily, never missing a class, never complaining. But life was not easy. At home, there was often no light at night, so Arman studied by the faint glow of a kerosene lamp. Sometimes the lamp would run out of oil, and he would sit outside under the moonlight whispering his lessons to himself. His father would return tired and broken, saying, "Arman, maybe it's better if you work in the fields. Education is for the rich." But his mother always defended him. "Let him dream, Salim. Maybe he will change our destiny one day." Arman listened silently, but promised himself he would not let his parents down. The turning point came one evening when the village headman organized a gathering. He announced that a scholarship exam would be held for poor children, and whoever passed would be given free education in the city. Arman's heart leapt with hope. This was his chance, the door to the world he had always imagined. But there was a problem. He needed books to prepare. Without them, the exam was impossible. Seeing his despair, his mother quietly sold the only gold bangle she had kept from her wedding. With the money, she bought Arman a set of second-hand books. When she handed them to him, she said, "These books are heavier than gold. Carry them with pride, my son." Tears filled Arman's eyes. He kissed his mother's hands and vowed, "I will not waste your sacrifice." Days turned into nights, nights into weeks. Arman studied harder than ever before. While other children played in the fields, he memorized formulas and solved problems. When others slept, he read by the dim lamp, sometimes until dawn. His health weakened, but his determination grew stronger. Finally, the day of the exam arrived. Arman walked to the town where the test was being held. He was nervous, but as he sat in the exam hall, he remembered his mother's words and his father's tired face. He reminded himself, "This is not just an exam. It is my chance to change everything." He wrote with all his heart, every answer carrying his dreams, his struggles, and his unshakable hope.